Most people think jealous people are easy to spot. They imagine someone angry, someone rude, someone who openly dislikes you. But the most jealous person in your life might actually be someone who smiles at you, someone who congratulates you, someone who says they're proud of you. But behind that smile, they're comparing themselves to you, and sometimes quietly hoping you fail. Today I'm going to show you 5 hidden signs someone is secretly jealous of you, and once you see them, you'll start noticing them everywhere. But the last sign is the one most people miss, and it changes how you see certain people forever. 1. The win interrogation. Imagine you share good news. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe you bought something you worked hard for. Maybe you finally achieved a goal you've been chasing for years. Naturally, you expect people to celebrate with you, but instead of saying congratulations, they ask a question. How did you afford that? Are you sure you're ready for that? Was it really that difficult? At first, it sounds normal. Maybe they're just curious. But notice what just happened. Instead of celebrating your success, they started analyzing it. This is one of the most common jealousy behaviors, because when someone is jealous, your success creates pressure. It forces them to compare their life to yours. And comparison can be painful, especially when the gap isn't in their favor. So their brain looks for a way to reduce that discomfort. They search for flaws. Maybe you were lucky. Maybe the opportunity just appeared. Maybe it wasn't that hard. If they can convince themselves your success isn't impressive, they feel better about their own situation. Real friends celebrate. Jealous people investigate. But interrogation is only the first stage, because some jealous people quickly realize questioning you too much reveals their insecurity. So they change tactics. Instead of questioning your success, they start complimenting you, but the compliment hides something sharp inside it. 2. The silk-wrapped knife. This one sounds like praise, but it isn't. You might hear things like, "You're actually smarter than I thought. You look good today, for once. Wow, I didn't expect you to pull that off." At first, your brain hears the compliment, but a second later, something feels strange. That's because these are backhanded compliments. 2 messages delivered at the same time. A compliment on the surface, an insult underneath. It's like wrapping a knife in silk. It looks soft, until you feel the blade. Jealous people use this tactic for a reason. They want to lower your confidence without looking like the bad guy. If they insult you directly, everyone notices. But if they hide the insult inside praise, they maintain the image of being supportive. And if you react, they retreat immediately. Relax, I was just joking. But genuine support never leaves you wondering whether you were insulted. Only jealousy does that. And the danger here is slow. These comments don't destroy confidence instantly. They chip away at it, little by little. Over time, you might start questioning yourself. And that's exactly what makes this tactic effective. But the next sign reveals something even deeper. Because jealousy doesn't only attack confidence. Sometimes it attacks the value of your success itself. 3. The shrink response. You tell someone about something you're proud of. Maybe you finished a difficult project. Maybe you started a business. Maybe you achieved something most people never reach. And their reaction sounds like this. That's not a big deal. A lot of people do that. You just got lucky. Notice the pattern. They shrink your achievement. Jealous people do this because your success creates pressure in their mind. If you succeed, it forces them to confront an uncomfortable question. Why haven't I done that? That question is painful. So instead of asking it, they create an easier explanation. Luck, timing, connections, anything except effort. Because admitting your success came from hard work means confronting their own lack of action. And that's uncomfortable. So they shrink your win. Not because it's true, because it protects their ego. But here's the real danger. If you hear this often enough, you start shrinking your own achievements. You downplay your success before anyone else can. You say things like, "It wasn't that big of a deal. I just got lucky." You try to make your success smaller so others feel comfortable. But the people who truly support you never ask you to shrink. And the moment you stop shrinking yourself, certain people around you start feeling very uncomfortable. That discomfort leads directly to the next sign. Because jealousy doesn't just react to success. Sometimes it tries to compete with it. 4. The silent scoreboard. Have you ever noticed someone who constantly tries to one-up you? You share good news. Suddenly they have a bigger story. You talk about your progress. They immediately talk about theirs. You buy something new. A week later, they buy something similar. This is hidden competition. Jealous people treat life like a scoreboard. Every achievement becomes a point. Every step forward becomes a comparison. And every time you move ahead, They feel like they're falling behind, so they try to catch up or surpass you. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's subtle. They compare jobs, money, relationships, even happiness. But here's the strange part. You might not be competing with them at all. You're just living your life. But in their mind, the race is very real, and it started long before you realized you were in it. And when someone feels like they're losing that race, they start watching you more closely, waiting for something to change, waiting for something to go wrong, which brings us to the final sign, and it's the most uncomfortable one to recognize. 5. The quiet relief. Pay attention to how certain people react when something goes wrong in your life. Jealous people rarely celebrate your failures openly. Instead, they show something quieter, relief. They say things like, "Well, I kind of expected that. I warned you. That's why I never tried that." On the surface, it sounds like advice, but underneath there's something else. Your failure restored balance in their mind. If you're struggling, you're not ahead anymore. The scoreboard feels even again, and that makes them feel safe. This is why jealous people sometimes become more interested in your life when things go wrong, more curious, more present, more invested in the details. Your struggle comforts them. Real friends feel your pain. Jealous people study it. And once you see that pattern, certain relationships suddenly make much more sense. Why jealousy is so hard to notice. Jealousy rarely looks like hatred. Most jealous people don't even realize they're jealous. They believe they're being honest, realistic, helpful. But deep down, something inside them reacts every time you move forward. Because progress creates comparison, and comparison often creates jealousy. This is why strangers sometimes support you more than people close to you. A stranger's success doesn't threaten them, but your success does, because they see you as someone they should be keeping up with. Final thought. Not everyone who questions you is jealous. Some people genuinely care. But when someone consistently minimizes your success, competes with you, or hides insults inside compliments, pay attention. Because jealousy often hides behind a smile, and once you recognize the pattern, it loses almost all of its power over you. You don't need to confront it. You don't need to prove it. You just need to see it clearly. Because the moment you do, you stop performing your life for people who were quietly hoping the performance would fail. You don't owe anyone your smallness. You never did. But you weren't